Yo, what's up, guys? I'm finally dropping a new video for y'all on ultra fighting things. It's been a little while since the last upload, but it took them a little while to get this patch out. I think I said it was going to be a few days, but it took them a little bit longer than that, but that's okay. Patch is finally out. We got our new characters here, as you can see. I'm a little more excited than usual, as you could probably tell by my voice. Can't wait to talk about this patch, man. It did a lot of things right, but it also did a few things wrong, which I'll get into. But before I jump into anything, let's take a look at the old tier list here. So, last patch, undisputed #1 character in the game. The Worm Hobbyist, you cannot debate me on that. That is set in stone. The community will back me up 100% on that. Number 2, we got Joe with the leg install. Number 3, Sour Beans, Z Broly, Bob, the Blender, Joe without the leg install, Trump, and then Pickle down here, right? Which, in Trump's defense, only had him this low because he was literally bugged and broken. It wasn't really a problem with like him being just poorly balanced. It was that the patch before that just actually, well, this last patch actually broke his Rekkas, but they're fixed now. We'll get into that and some of the other changes they made. But let's go ahead and jump right into the #1 character here. I don't know why they did it, but they made leg install Joe just insane. Leg install Joe being #1 is fine. I mean, you still got to actually get the install. That's a whole thing by itself. So it being #1 is fine, but what I can't get is why they made Joe without the leg install so good. Like, he's up here now, which there's still a tier gap in between, but if you remember on this tier list, we had him in B+. He was below Bob, he was below the Blender, and these characters had some pretty obvious weaknesses, right? Like, don't be fooled by the B+. Like, yeah, everyone in this game can open you up aside from Trump at the time and Pickle, but it was pretty hard to play this character, right? Bob though, he got some substantial buffs. We'll talk about him in a second, but Joe without the leg install is like actually kind of, he's a character now. Like, he actually plays the game. But let me go ahead and just finish up the placements here. So we got this guy here. Let me see. Got Bart. Oh man, Bart's a little rough to place because I haven't played him too much on this patch. But from what I've seen and heard other people say about him, he's roughly around here. So we'll drop him here. Oh god, I almost forgot about this. Yeah, dude. JoJo is insane. I'll have to talk about him when I'm done. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this character got a little bit better this patch. Oh man, I hate to see it. Sour Beans being put this low, man, but this patch hit him hard, dude. Really hit him hard, but we'll get into that. But let me go ahead and order this now. Broly's definitely better than JoJo. I kind of like where Bob is. I'm going to move this guy down just because I'm not, like I said, I'm not too sure about his placement. Honestly, I haven't played him enough. But keep going through here. Yeah, you're definitely better. Are you better than the Worm Hobbyist now? I think so, yeah. Yeah, the Blender just kind of replaces the Worm Hobbyist now, honestly, on this patch, so. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into it here. Let's start with number one character here, Joe with the leg install. So, if you remember, Joe. So I had Joe as the number two character. Worm Hobbyist was broken. That's why Joe with the leg install wasn't number one in my last video, my last tier list. But now that the Worm Hobbyist has been like really super nerfed, like he's just undisputed number one. They really haven't changed anything about him. They did nerf his one. They nerfed his low. The frame data on it now, it was -4. Now it's -5. It's still safe, but that does mean he can't play some of the RPS off his low. So now it's his mix-ups aren't as brain dead. This character's still really stupid, but that just removes a whole nother layer out of his mix-ups that you just don't have to deal with that anymore, thankfully. Number two, this is one of the new characters they added. The Quangulone is like crazy right now. Like nobody really knows what this character does. I'm not an expert on the Quangulone. I'm sure there's still stuff to be found about the Quangulone. But right now this character is like insane. So they're a set play character, right? So their whole gameplay. So first of all, they don't have a fireball, which you would think is really bad in this game. But they have a double jump and a dive kick, dude. So their neutral is silly, man. They're playing a whole different game. They're playing like Guilty Gear or some shit right now on this patch. Like this is definitely going to get nerfed in a future update. This character gets in way too freely. Yes, you can block their dive kick, and it is death on block. But the amount of mind games you have to play to even deal with the dive kick is insane. So they could just jump and hit you with a jump heavy kick, or they could double jump, read your fireball, double jump, hit you with a jump heavy kick, and punish counter. That's not what you want at all, because this character will kill you off of that one hit. They can just normal jump, dive kick, and if you do a fireball, you're cooked because the dive kick stalls your arrow momentum, right? I'm sure you guys have seen that. They can double jump, dive kick if they read that you're going to anti-air him. It's just silly. This character's dumb. Their damage output is insane. Their mix-up game is really similar to the Blender. Their mix-up isn't as good. So the Blender, they get like 4-way mix, high-low, with strike throw on top of that as well. But the Quangulone just gets high-low. So it is susceptible to the pocket sand reversal since you can't cross up their inputs. But as with like most RPS scenarios like that, you could just read them and bait them out and then just TOD them, right? Because their damage is silly. But that's enough about this character. They're really their only real weakness, like I said, is the lack of a fireball. It's just silly, man. The more I think about this character, actually, the more I'm tempted to put Joe below them. Because, like I said, nothing's changed with Joe with leg install. But this character's just dumb. They just kind of do everything Joe does, but their mix-up isn't as good. Yeah, I think I like them over Joe. Up next, we got Z Broly. To summarize the character in the last patch, he had an unreactable armored grab, good staggers. He was a 3-touch character. I'll touch on that in a little bit. He used to have to hit you 3 times to kill. Now he only needs 2. But he had no Oki, no safe jumps, and his supers did no damage, which contributed to the 3-touch archetype. But now in this patch, dude, oh my lord. So he still has the unreactable grab. It's still armored, but he still has good stagger pressure. But now he's a 2-touch character. They buffed his supers. He could finally two-touch you if you do his optimal routes, which they added some new combos to him now, man. They're so sick. He can do eraser blow loops and shit. Oh, man. That shit is so cool. And it builds so much bar, too. Like, you're guaranteed to get a bar from just hitting them one time, and then the next touch is going to kill, because you'll have the super locked and loaded. They pretty much just removed all this character's weaknesses, honestly. He's still huge. He's still really tall, so he can still get fuzzy. That's why I don't have him up in S with Joe and the Quangulone. But still really solid character, man. You can't, like, these top three, you can't do anything wrong, like, picking these characters up, man. Like, they're really good. But moving on to our next character, we got JoJo here. And if you've ever played Tekken, he's kind of like the Armored King to King. So he's the counterpart to just regular Joe here without the leg install. He's kind of the in-between. So if you like the gameplay of Joe with the leg install, but you really hate the way Joe plays without it, he's kind of your in-between here. So he's, so first of all, his base kit is very similar to Joe without the leg install. He doesn't get the leg install, by the way. It's just Joe's pre-leg install moveset, but with a few changes. So he's way faster than Joe without the leg install. He actually moves like a normal character around the screen, right? Like, he can actually chase down his opponents now. He still has the RNG jump, so the height of the jump is still random, but I would say it feels a lot better now than pre-leg install Joe. It tends to go much higher than pre-leg install Joe's, so a lot of the time when you try to jump over a fireball, you'll actually jump over the fireball instead of getting like a short hop and just eating the fireball, right? So that helps a lot. His normals are actually good. Since he doesn't have a leg install, a lot of his normals got changed to be actually like safe, right? So his low's safe. Most of his mids outside of like his stand medium punch and standing heavy punch, those are unsafe. Everything else is safe though. And like, I forgot to mention this, he does have a low. So previously, Joe pre-leg install was just mids. Dude didn't have a single low in his kit. But Joe with JoJo rather, he just rams his wheelchair into you, like just attacks your shins. That's a low. Pretty goofy little move they gave him, but I like it. It's fun, and it actually gives this character mix without having an install, right? But he's solid. He still has some of the weaknesses of Joe. So like, he doesn't have a fireball. His jump is still whatever, right? Leaves some things to be desired. But his damage is good, really good damage. That's honestly the only reason he's up in A+, is like he just, you could be asleep at the wheel in two-touch. Like, you could just go into the lab, learn the B&B, boom, you're two-touching people. Then we got Bob. Bob's bread, his bread slide is insane this patch. Like, dude, that shit is fast, man. Like, I don't think it's even reactable anymore. It's like 22 frames or something. Full screen, it's 22 frames. Good luck reacting to that and jumping it. Your best bet is to just on reaction to him like doing anything, just try to reaction, just block it. But yeah, man, the chip damage on this character is super cheap this patch. He still has the bread wake up, so you still got to deal with that. He's really obnoxious DP, but he isn't the only one with it anymore. And I think there's been a lot of counterplay developed around that. A lot of people have found option selects to deal with that. But the bread slide move is just really stupid this patch. It really doesn't take a lot of thought to play this character anymore. He went from having really poor neutral with a low only fireball to like, now it's completely unreactable. There's a shitload of chip, and you can even EX it. So if you played Street Fighter 6 Terry Bogard, you can EX his fireball and walk behind it. He gets that same thing in this patch now. Really dumb. But it is what it is, I guess. I really don't like the way they made this character this patch, but he at least still has weaknesses. Like, you could still jump at him and stuff, right? But whatever. Then we have Bart. This character, like I said, brand new character. He's kind of weird, right? So he's kind of the kin to Ryu, the counterpart to Bob here. I don't know why they made him a DLC character. In my opinion, he should have been on launch, but it is what it is, I guess. So they can't just make him a carbon copy of Bob. So what they did was they just made his fireball a high instead. So he just throws shorts at your face. And the unique gimmick with his fireballs too, I've never seen this done. So his fireballs are kind of like a hit grab. So if they hit you, they put you in kind of a stun animation. And it's not enough though, like he can run up and get a combo off you. Well, sure, if you're close enough to him, but like from full screen, if you get hit by a fireball, he could dash up dangerously close to you. Other than that, like that's kind of scary to deal with because his pressure's pretty good. He's got a lot of safe normals. He's got a low, good jump, good air normals. So it's kind of hard to block this character when he's on you. It's not impossible though. Like it's all fuzzyable still, but it's kind of hard to fuzzy. Like it's 2 frames difference between the high and the low a lot of times. So you're not going to get it every time. But his normals are still kind of stubby. Damage output is kind of whatever. Like you got to do his really hard optimals if you want a 2-touch. And those are some hard combos, man. We're talking like multiple 1-frame links to get a 2-touch. So that's why this character is at the bottom of A+ right now. I'd like to see his combo damage maybe be turned up a little bit. Because those 1-frame links are silly, man. No one's actually going to do that in a tournament setting. I'm kind of wanking him a little bit, even putting him up here, because that's like with the 1-frame links. But the 1-frame links they're at least plinkable, so they're doable, I guess. But you're not going to be able to hit them 100% consistently. And if you, God forbid, you drop a combo, you're just dead. So that's why I have this character here below everyone else. Hopefully we're all in agreement on that. That seems to be the community consensus anyways on this character. Some people have him higher. Those are like the execution demons. They have him like up here, which I think is just insane. And a lot of people have him like down here, which I can honestly see that because your average person isn't going to be able to play this character optimally like that. And even still, his fireball is duckable, so like they are fast fireballs, but they're reactable and you can duck them. His mid-range is where he's really scary, like I said, because then he can actually combo off the fireball and stuff. But yeah, there you go. There's Bart. Then we got Joe pre-leg install. So in the previous patch, I had him in B+, below the blender, and now he's up here at the top of A. So they gave this character a lot of nice stuff this patch. So they buffed his movement speed. It's not as fast as JoJo, but it is faster. It is noticeable. They did make his normals a little bit better. He actually has safe normals now. Multiple points where he can just stagger his pressure and catch you mashing pocket sand, thankfully. But he still doesn't have a low. And he still doesn't have a fireball, and he still has a shitty jump. So that's why this character is just here. You're still heavily relying on getting the leg install. It's way easier now. You can actually kind of play the neutral and get the meter required for the leg install. But you're still looking at getting it round 2 rather than round 1. If you could get it round 1, oh my lord, this character would be, like, even without the leg install would be up here, because, like, you just hit them once, get the meter, boom, you're in leg install mode, and you just win, right? But, you're still looking at a round 2 leg install, and if you don't manage to get the meter by round 2, you just lose. So that's why he's here. Pretty nice changes overall, though. I really like what they did with this character. Hopefully they just I honestly don't even want them to touch him anymore. I'm pretty happy with how he plays now. He's pretty fun. He doesn't feel annoying to play anymore, and the matchup actually is pretty fun as well. I like it. I like it. But moving on to Trump, they fixed his Rekkas. So previously, his down back 2 Rekka was actually just broken. That Rekka just didn't function. Like, he just had no block stun at all on his Rekkas. He still had all the recovery from doing the Rekka. He just didn't have any of the block stuns. So he was like minus 18 on every Rekka at least. Really shitty. But they fixed that, thankfully. His Rekkas still build a shitload of meter if you hit them. Like, you're definitely two touching every round. But he still has one of the slowest jumps in the game. It's like a 6 frame pre-jump, I think it is. It's been a while since I looked at his frame data. But I do know for sure it's the slowest jump in the game. No DP. He does have a decent movement speed, so he can approach pretty reliably against zoners, but he really needs, like, they need to give him a move that goes through fireballs. That would help this character a lot, because he really struggles against zoners like Broly, Bob, hell, the Quangulone even, and even some kind of mid-tier matchups now, like the Worm Hobbyist still smokes Trump, dude. It's kind of sad. But the Rekkas are good, solid mix-ups. They're fuzzyable, and sometimes even reactable depending on how he does the Rekkas. But they build good meter, do good damage. Not much more to say about Trump. We got the Blender. Previously, I had the Blender in B+ here, and let me tell you, man, this character is one patch away from being the most broken character in the game, dude. This character. So they still have insane mix-up, the most insane mix-up in the game. But their neutral is still pretty bad. They still don't have a fireball. They still rely on just footsies, even though their normals are really stubby, the smallest normals in the game. And their normals are still unsafe. Outside of one, they did make their standing medium kick safe. So they at least have something to deal with DPs, and now they can do some sort of stagger pressure. That moved them up a little bit. But they also made their movement speed a little bit faster. As you'll notice too that, like, that's kind of the general thing they did with the patch. They just sped up the game a little bit. They made everyone a little bit faster. But that helped this guy a lot. He can more reliably get in now, and then just blend their character to death. So, yeah. Hopefully, they don't buff this character anymore, man. I do not want to deal with this character, especially like top players playing this character. Oh my god, that sounds like a nightmare. Like, he's already annoying enough that now that he can actually bait pocket sand. Like, that was the thing his mix was weak to before, right? But with that standing media kick change, he now has a stagger point, so he can bait those out more reliably. Then we got the Worm Hobbyist. Thank God they nerfed the shit out of this character. Earthworm neutral, absolutely ruined. The Earthworm neutral is ruined, dude. That shit does not fly anymore. 60 frame startup. So previously that shit was like 30 frames, which from full screen, that's crazy for a move that covers like the entire ground. Now it's 60 frames, utter dog shit. The ringworm didn't really get touched. Whatever. And the Worm Oki got absolutely cooked, man. Like, you don't have to deal with 4-way mix-up every knockdown anymore, unless you're in the corner, which they still don't get a 4-way, but they do get a high-low 50-50, which is fair. That's like kind of their whole thing, is they wrap you up in the worms and you gotta guess. But you don't have to deal with that mid-screen anymore. Mid-screen now, if you get knocked down by the Worm Hobbyists, they do the Roki, and now all they do is they get a safe jump. So there you go. Thankfully, our prayers have been answered, and this character got nerfed to shit. There's still a 3-touch character, but Now it actually takes thought to play this character, man. It's not just the freest character of all time. Next we got House here. House just kind of sucks. I still have him over these two, but he's really lacking in a lot of areas. So he's got the cane. The cane's okay. It's definitely disjointed, which is a huge plus in this game. But the frame data on all of it is really bad. So like, if you block the cane, even at max range, despite it being disjointed, you could punish it on reaction. You do gotta train your reactions for it, because it does recover hella fast. It's like 20 frames or something that you have to react to it and then punish it on block. But it's still something you have to be aware of, so you're not really going to be using the cane normals at all. House is also a 3-touch character without the mix-up, and that's kinda it with this character, man. Like, I don't know what they were going for with this character. Like, he does have the Vicodin install, but it's nothing like Leg Install Joe, dude. Like, I had to add a whole thing for Leg Install Joe. Vicodin install House, though, puts him from like here to like maybe here, because the only thing that changes is he can reliably 2-touch you in round 2, and his cane normals get safe, which is not enough in this game, man. Like, this game is so fast paced now, like, that's just not going to cut it. He's a little slower than the average character. He walks with a limp. You know, that's not going to be translate to a fast character. Really wish he was better, because he does have some cool stuff. His combos do look cool. I like the combos where like he knocks you up in the air with the cane and then kind of swings like a bat. That shit's sick. But overall, just kind of a mediocre character. I mean, he's just kind of a mid dispenser. He 3-touched you. Oki's okay. He gets safe jumps at least. But yeah, man, not much to say about this character. He's just he just doesn't do anything special. Up next, we got the green Bob here. So we already had Bob in the game, but they added another Bob. So the community, to differentiate the two, they just called this one the green Bob. So the green Bob, his whole gimmick is the money, the drip, right? So he does have a fireball. It's the money. He just showers you in the money. But the problem with that is it just does like no damage. It doesn't even do chip damage. It does no damage. It's kind of RNG where they end up falling like on the ground and stuff. What would help this character a lot is if the money like stayed on the ground, kind of like Aaron Black's Caltrops in MKX. The money doesn't do that. It just kind of it goes up in the air. It kind of slowly descends, and then that's it. And it does no chip damage, so you're gonna get dash blocked a lot. It's not particularly safe. You can't do it on block. You can't do it in a block string, unlike Bob and Bart. But the one saving grace of this character is he does have a DP. I guess this character was kind of low budget because it just uses the same animation as the projectile, but it's a DP for some reason. The quarter circle back version of it is quarter circle forward, you get the fireball. Quarter circle back, you get the DP. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. Hey, at least another character finally got a DP besides Bob, though, right? So pretty nice. Does have a low. He doesn't have any safe normals outside of his standing heavy punch, but that normal's really slow and bad. Like, there's a humongous gap preceding whatever and the standing heavy punch, so you can always just pocket sand in between that if you know that. But his damage is okay. He can 2-touch you. This character can do work in the right hands, but stubby normals, really poor fireball. He's kind of has the same problem as Bart, where a lot of his damage is locked behind some really hard combos. Not to the extent of Bart, but they are pretty hard. You definitely want to sit down and, like, he's the type of character you go into the lab and you warm up with before you queue online, right? So He's got issues. They need to buff that fireball desperately, or at least give it a Caltrops-like effect. Then this character would be like up here or something. But right now, he needs help, man. And then Sour Beans, oh my lord, they neutered this character, dude. Neutered this character. What a fall from grace. Number 3 character in the game with the bottom 2, dude. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't, like, his zoning was annoying, yes. All they had to do was touch the zoning. I don't know what they were doing. They just, like, butchered this character. So, before, he had the low committal bean zoning that, like, hardly anybody could get in on. Like, you had to guess super hard to get in on this character. Now his fireballs are just super laggy, man. Like, anybody can get in on the... Like, dude, Joe pre-leg install, even with his RNG jump, is getting in on this character 100% of the time, man. And you're eating, like, a huge combo for it, too, dude. Because, like, the recovery on that fireball, you're going to be in that punish counter state for a minute. So, not only that, but they just, like, the restand you get off of the force-feeding beans move, his back forward 3, I think it is. It's either 3 or 2. Let me go look at the frame, or the wiki real quick. Yeah, so his back forward 3, the beans, like, force feed move that restands, that shit is terrible now, man. Like, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you don't have to deal with, like, pocket sand on wake up, but, like, you're only +2 now. I don't know what they expect you to do at +2. I don't know, man. This character is cooked. They need to just, like, if they didn't like the way the character was before and they made him this bad now, they just need to completely rework the character, repurpose his own moveset, man. Because this character is dog shit, dude. But he's still not as bad as Pickle. So Pickle was previously in a tier of his own. He still is, I guess, but previously he was in the joke character tier. He's still a joke character. Let me be clear. He's still a joke character. That's why he's at the bottom of this list. But you can actually play him and win games. He's not so bad that, like, you just instantly lose on the character select screen now. You'll have to, like, play way better than your opponent, but he actually functions. So you can actually play the game if you're good enough. If you're so much better than your opponent, you can win with Pickle. But they fixed his round start animation. That was so stupid. His round start animation used to bleed into the round. So, like, the opponent would just, like, round start, instantly just hit you and get the free meter. Like, you couldn't stop that. You couldn't backdash. You couldn't pocket sand. Guaranteed punish, round start for that shit. But now it doesn't bleed into the actual round, his animation. He still doesn't have a jump. So his frame data is still pretty bad. They made his standing light kick, I think it was. Or no, it was his crouching medium kick. Still a mid, by the way. The only mid crouching medium kick. Goofy. It went for -8. Now it is -5. So it's safe. That also seems to be a common theme with this patch now that I'm thinking about it, where, like, they made a lot of, like, medium buttons. They gave a medium button that was safe to pretty much every character, it seems like, which is pretty nice, because Pocket Sand was, like, you couldn't even deal with it with some of these characters, but yeah, Pickle can actually bait Pocket Sands now. Still doesn't have a lower high. Their damage got buffed. They can 2-touch you, but they honestly need it. Like, their combos are brain dead if you do somehow manage to hit them. So you are going to reliably 2-touch. And their Oki is still garbage. They still can't jump. They still can't do a safe jump. So yeah, good luck with that, guys. Yay! Their worst matchup got even worse with Bob this patch. Holy shit, dude! Bob just ruins this character. That is the, like, worst matchup I've ever seen in a game, man. But it has a pretty good matchup against Bart, surprisingly. because he can just roll under the fireballs. Like Bart just can't, he just can't zone Pickle at all because he's so low to the ground. And also Bart's stubby normals just end up, a lot of time you'll try to preemptively like hit Pickle as he rolls into you, but because his normals are so stubby, what ends up happening a lot of time is you mistime your normal, and then he just ends up whiff punishing you by rolling into you. So that's kind of silly. Niche matchup there, but who's playing Pickle, right? But some of the universal changes kind of help Pickle out. So Pocket Sand does a little bit more damage on hit now. It does 25% damage. It did 20% before. It's now not as deadly on block. It used to be like minus 15, which is crazy. But for Pickle specifically, they made it minus 8 for some reason. I don't know. He has like a unique version of the Pocket Sand, I guess, in the data of the game, the code for the game. The Oki on it's still bad, but he does so the universal grab, it used to be 30 frames. It was absolute piss grab. One of the worst grabs I've ever seen in a game. Easily telegraphed. They sped it up. It's 24 frames now. So like, yeah, he doesn't have a mid, or he doesn't have a high. He doesn't have a low. He doesn't have a jump to even like do cross ups with. But you can kind of annoy your opponent with stagger pressure. Like, even though his only safe button is the medium punch, a lot of his moves have kind of small recovery. So even though they're unsafe, you kind of have to read that he's going to stagger on it and then mash. To stop the stagger pressure, because you're not reacting to the staggers. Like, let's be honest here. Still doesn't do chip damage though, so like it's kind of whatever. You just block them. If you know the matchup, you just sit and block. If you get the life lead, and you just block and react. Like he can't do anything about that. But yeah, he's actually a playable character now. I didn't think they would do it, but there you go. But there you go. I like the way they're taking this game, this patch. They do need, I think they need to change house. They need to change some of the combo routes on Bart. And then they just need to rework the Sour Beans, man. Like, I thought they were fine before. Like, every fighting game has a zoner, right? Like, and I thought that was their niche, but like, evidently the devs disagree with me. So, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of this patch down below. Who do you have in your top 5? But there you go. I'm going to go and grind some rank, and maybe I can get to Ultimate Grandmaster.